That's what you should do first, okay? Share the broadcast, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that, yes, Maiyegun is back. From the Kaduna state today, few weeks back, El-Rufai, who happened to be one of the last saving grace for all of the plots by Boko Haram's kitchen cabinets, popularly known then as the Cabal, in their efforts to stop Kalu from becoming the APC, Egbekegbe's presidential candidate. El-Rufai is known to be one of those from the beginning, telling everybody to do all they can, all they could to stop Thiefnubu, because he would replicate exact fiefdom he had created for himself in Lagos all over Nigeria. That was the fear. Then we don't know what kind of changed at the last minute. El-Rufai that couldn't stand Thiefnubu, the one that has really worked so much to undermine him because of Thiefnubu's suspected attempt to control Nigeria via Pastor Ruga, then suddenly changed and he became the advocate for Thiefnubu. Even when the Emefiole and their supposed cabal suspected that the amount of stockpiled naira by Thiefnubu and gang for 2023 charade would be catastrophic for Nigeria economically. So then they said they were changing the naira. Well, you know the story. It was the likes of El-Rufai using their position at the time, himself and Yeye Bello, using their position at the time to take Boko Haram's government and the Emefiole to court in order to get a Supreme Court approval that you could continue spending that old naira note. Don't forget, this was the saving grace of Thiefnubu at the last minute. In fact, when Thiefnubu went to, I think it was Oshun, was it? And he told them there then that, Eko naira pamo, Amadibo, Amawole. Remember that? Good enough. It was the likes of El-Rufai and Yeye Bello in the last minute. Remember Yeye Bello that was mocking Thiefnubu? Like that. Because of Thiefnubu's supposed disability or unfair unfairness. You know? Anyway, then last minute they became the advocate for Thiefnubu to the point that it was a joy to the Lagos Abobakus to see El-Rufai championing the power returning to southern Nigeria and Kalu the druggie as the beneficiary. In fact, it is on record that it was El-Rufai, same El-Rufai, that told Thiefnubu, okay, that if he wanted the northern Nigeria support, he must choose a Muslim, a devoted Muslim, a jihadist as his running mate. And Thiefnubu should not worry himself. That was how these people were shouting and screaming in Kaduna. But he did it, and nothing they could do about it. So Thiefnubu should go ahead, or else he's not guaranteeing anything. If Thiefnubu should come to northern Nigeria and choose a Christian, he should forget it. It was El-Rufai. Some said he said it because he was positioning himself, but he denied that, like, no, it doesn't want to be anything, like, you know, he's too big, like with a wiki. I'm too big to want to be a vice president or be a minister. No. I'm just going to go back to academia. Anyway, in order to further finish him, all of the cooking possibly worked out, and his own Suji became the governor of Kaduna. only for that one to discover that Napangolo they handed over to him a state in such a depth that they have become the new Osun states, Kaduna, where the state allocation and the chunk of it, by the way, the chunk of the state allocation is now being used to service the debt left behind by El-Rufai. But he won't keep his mouth shut. For some reason, people believe that it was Ubasani, El-Rufai's stooge, that became the governor of Kaduna State that actually worked to stop El-Rufai from becoming a minister under Thiefnubu. And for Thiefnubu, well, Mokuna do herself, I will submit his name. And El-Rufai was rejected by the Senate because Ubasani, according to the words from the grapevine, Ubasani didn't want to suffer what Fubara is to suffer. Something Fubara is suffering now. And because of that, it is better. The monster of Kaduna, the El-Rufai, Kaduna little finger, should be curtailed and be limited to Kaduna. He cannot go back to Abuja. Ubasani won't sleep. Of course, that was it. And it worked. El-Rufai won't be a minister. And I think he became the only minister rejected. He was nationally disgraced. But well, because it was fresh, El-Rufai said that was Thiefnubu's loss, not his own problem, that the Nigerian Senate rejected him. But there was actually a Cold War going on behind, a political Cold War. On the one part, from those who El-Rufai have managed to lord it over politically in Kaduna, and somehow, they have been loyal to him and they do not want to be his godchildren, right? So El-Rufai want to be a godfather and they will not want that. So somehow, right? It was a chance to tell him that his own time is past and please move on. Anyway, I'm giving you the backstory, okay, to the breaking news of today. That the same people that El-Rufai facilitated how they became public officials or public office holders to save themselves from El-Rufai and his vendetta. They call it evil politics, by the way. It is better to completely chain him. And with the blessings of Thiefnubu, you don't know how far they are willing to go. Okay? El-Rufai destroyed Kaduna so it divided Kaduna. Southern Kaduna became a killing field. Rather than the government of El-Rufai to help them, he went to town with his own propaganda. He said the killings and the crisis in Southern Kaduna, the terrorism, the Fulani jihadism in Southern Kaduna was being exaggerated. That's what he said. He said they were being exaggerated so that they can get support from people abroad, donations and all that. Therefore, it is not us. In fact, he said, the people were intentionally burning their own churches, burning their own homes, and killing themselves. So as El-Rufai will look bad, and then people can contribute money and give them money. I swear, El-Rufai went on TV and said that in defense of the Southern Kaduna killing and genocide. Baba, for 8 solid years, El-Rufai denied the people of Southern Kaduna senatorial districts any single government presence. You won't believe it. I'm talking about the communities that were completely almost cut off as part of, you won't even believe it's part of Kaduna. When you open the news and read about Southern Kaduna, it is about killings, burial, killings, burnings, and all that. El-Rufai never went there to say, oh, I went there to go and commission this 5 kilometers road built for the people of Southern Kaduna. It was that bad. It was like the people of Southern Kaduna versus him, because the Southern Kaduna is populated by Christians. And to show them that they are politically irrelevant in Kaduna, El-Rufai went on to choose a Muslim as his own vice or a deputy, and he dared them. And of course, that was why the Muslim in Southern Kaduna, where you have more Christians than Muslims, where you have more indigenous people of Kaduna, that place called Kaduna today, you have more indigenous people than the patri 2% Fulanis there. But El-Rufai succeeded in, for power, for ego tripping, right? He felt good. And he promised Thiefnubu that Thiefnubu could also have the same. And that was why Thiefnubu chooses the terrorist sympathizer, the shitty man. The rest is history today. So in order to further cut him down, the Kaduna State House of Assembly, his own successor, Ubasani, now embarked on a reconciliation tour of Southern Kaduna to rebuild trust between the people of Southern Kaduna and the rest of Kaduna. And this is something that is considered anti-idea of El-Rufai. And politically, they said he has started moving mad, where some people are becoming disrespectful to Ubasani, and because they felt like he's pretty much on insubordination, places where El-Rufai knows that they are the enemies of El-Rufai, why would Sonny go there and be sympathizing, relating with them and all of that stuff? Why? This is a politics in Kaduna that is not out there. So Ubasani is facing the homegrown resistance from people who believe that they made him governor because of El-Rufai. Now Ubasani is going against him. Now he has to be rubbished. His own son called the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Kaduna State House of Assembly Speaker, his own son called him a useless, stupid fool, an ingrate, a wretch. It's called him a wretched soul for daring to say they want to investigate his father. Now, who are they? Look at this rat. Look at this smelling idiot that my father made. My father made them. So you people now think you can investigate my father. His own son, who is House of Representative, is a member of, I think there are two. The one that is House of Representative is different from the mad one. And that one seems to be, one is Bello, the other one is, I don't know. Anyway, there is one that has serious, drug abuse, mental disorder. I went on TV and he was like latching at them because these were like, just like maybe the son of Werewike will see all of those guys who were decamping from APC, from PDP to APC, only to be told now that they have lost their seats and they are waiting for Werewike to protect them, right? So it's the same for Werewike's son to now say, look at these ones that my father made them. They want to investigate my father. This useless. That's how they are treated. But because they have the right and the constitutional power to do so, right now, Ubasani is considered going against, in fact, relating with the enemies of El-Rufai. And for him to save his own head, they decided to go and investigate the Bozo. And now, the committee set up to investigate him have submitted their reports. El-Rufai stole over 420 billion. And remember also that I think it was about 2-3 weeks ago, sometimes in May, El-Rufai came out and said that Thiefnubu's illegitimate regime has been paying subsidy secretly. Do you remember that? Yeah, he suddenly want to become a critic. Okay? Like, we need to tell the government the truth kind of narrative, huh? So he said that he's right. It is true. But he's not telling us anything new. So now that he has made himself the critic of Thiefnubu, decided to start, to revive SDP in Kaduna. They are already, just like Fubara, they are already telling Ubasani that he's going to be a one-term governor. And another party, SDP, which is going to be populated by El-Rufai's supporters. They are going to get rid of all these guys investigating him in Kaduna. Maybe part of the 420 billion naira that they stole will now be used to prosecute the proverbial 2027 elections. But until then, this is the speaker receiving the reports and now making a recommendation that El-Rufai should now be prosecuted for stealing, looting the Kaduna state of 8 years. I'll tell you what he's told.
The committee found devious transactions, suspicious transactions, diversion, directly or indirectly, through different accounts by using special SPV account to siphon some of or most of all these monies extracted from same statement of account of various individuals, companies were detected. Honorable members, the liability, the contractual liability was 311 billion. Then money siphoned or diverted 423 billion. A case study: in 1 or in 50 days, a travel agency was paid 1.3 billion naira. In just 40 days, a travel agency was paid 1.3 billion naira. In another reference, 80 million naira was paid into an individual that is neither an elected. The committee found
there are more. Well, let me tell you some of the list. El-Rufai, they said the Ministry of Finance, in collaboration with Cadiz, and that is the Kaduna Internal Revenue Service, siphoned and stole 30 billion naira from the state IGR accounts alone. In total, 30 billion. Then the Kaduna State House of Assembly that found that they said is the total of 423 billion. The contractual commitment, they call it liability. That is, let's say, the road contracts, the school buildings, hospital buildings, all of that kind of construction. Contracts are awarded out. Kaduna State is currently in debt of 311 billion naira. That's how much they are owing those who have worked for Kaduna State government in the last 8 years on one project or another that the Kaduna State government has to clear and pay. 311 billion naira. The total money, that means Kaduna is in debt to those contractors. So there is more debt too. That's just the contractors alone. 311 billion. Now, El-Rufai alone and his people, they stole 423 billion and left millions of Kaduna people to deal with the debt of 311 billion. So, $1.4 million was said to have been withdrawn between January and February of 2023 the same month that they were having presidential election in Nigeria, El-Rufai and his guys, they withdrew $1.5 million cash. And you know what that means? I'll tell you. When they said that, it's like you go and withdraw the state allocation and you take it to the Aboki, they borrow the change, and then they give you $1.5 million cash, and then you hand over the state allocation to them. Maybe 1 billion, maybe 2 billion, maybe not 3 billion during the month of elections. Not just that. Here, they said a total of 4.9 billion naira cash was illegally withdrawn from the accounts of the Kaduna state government. Sometimes in April, just 1 month before he handed over, April 2023, they went to the bank. That's also going to be an allocation of the states, local government allocation, the ecological fund, the clinical fund, this one's allowance and all of that. They went to the bank and withdrew 4.9 billion naira cash just a month before handing over to Ubasani. They said a total of about 62 billion naira is to be refunded, you. Okay? 62 billion. This is the money they traced into the SPV accounts. SPV is the short for special purpose vehicles. That is the name they give to using fake companies to siphon government money, public fund. By just a stroke of the pen, billions and billions and billions of government fund can be ferried through them and then to where you will never see them again. In here. But they found that some of them are traceable and they could still recover 62 billion. Imagine somebody who stole 423 billion. And what they could really trace is 62 billion. It's not because they have found it, but they could hold some people to cough out the 62 billion. But at the end of the day, maybe now 1 billion, those ones go give. Now, somebody stole 420 something billion. He will get a lawyer. He will spend maybe 1 billion and the money is gone, because the next election, it will remind you that he is not the only person who stole money. In fact, the money was exaggerated. That was not stolen by me alone. And in fact, all the good things I have done, forget about the money I stole. What about that good? In fact, you know what? Forgive me about what oh, no, they never actually asked for forgiveness. That's rare. And then the people they stole the money from, the ones they have denied access to education, access to good road, good drinking water, electricity, access to health care, those they have denied safety and security, those one will now gather at a square, looking up to them to promise them new things again. Don't worry, we will give you education. Or we'll send your children this. Or we'll send your wives that. We'll send your husband that. Yeah. Again. Unfortunately. So yeah, El-Rufai and the Kaduna State House of Assembly, you should understand their fight. And if you are from Kaduna State, I don't know if you are to be happy or not, because at the end of the day, I have given you the whole picture. Somebody stole 420 something billion. He won't even spend 1 billion before the entire case will die. And he can pull maybe 10 billion from the stolen money, reinvest it in another elections, okay? And get rid of those who are trying to probe him. Put his own guys there, like it happened in Kano. And then before everybody will scream, yeah, oh, yeah, then they will move on. And whenever they are looking for leaders to come and discuss the problem of Nigeria and the solution, the thieves, they will appear as your leaders from the north to the south, from the east to the west. They are the ones who will be on the high table to discuss about the problems of Nigeria and the solution. And then you will see the others, they will sit there. They will be listening to them. The speech of El-Rufai in Kaduna yesterday is electrifying. Did you hear the speech of Aregbe Mugbana Baba Kabiru? Yeah. Oh, he spoke so well. Did you listen to the speech of so? Those are the criminal leaders. For example, right? You have where's that guy again? The one from Ekiti. So there are those who will loot you, then they will come back and say they have solution. Listen to them. Baba, listen to what he's saying. Yes, everybody, all of them are the same. Baba, all of them are the same. Let's listen to what they are saying. Now they are speaking sense. Now you know get sense. That is why you will know all these criminals. But somehow, when they need you, when they are working your brain, you believe them that they want to come and rescue Nigeria or rescue you, the one they push into the pits. Do you see why they cannot? You can't sell them to people like us. So on this one going on in Kaduna, the old drama, you will watch it. Okay, the back and forth and the rest. Accusation, allegation, and counter allegations and all of that. Just like that of a Yeye Bello. And then boom, they're going to tell you again about 2027. And they will say everybody is now coming together to come and rescue you, including the thieves. And then you will say, you see, let us forget about that one. We need to all work together. If not, this APC go kill us. So, is that not how it works in Nigeria? So, my own solution is that if you destroy the system that actually create these criminals, and we deal with them the way they should be dealt with, right? And then you have a system that will never allow people like that to actually have a chance to power again, then that is the solution. Break up the shit hole and save lives, or else it is catch-22. Rat race. There is no amount of victory a rat gets from rat race. It will always be a rat. Do you understand that? These criminals and then the utopia, being at the dystopia you are living, right? The dystopia world you are living in is a rat race. No matter how good you are, no matter how fast you are, no matter how intelligent you are, in that contraption where you are actually thinking you are hustling, I am hustler, I'm hustling. You are an hustler, no doubt. But what you are actually hustling against is a race against yourself, against life. It has been rigged. It is a rat race. There is no amount of win you make or you get from this race of this Nigeria. You are still a ratty. Look at your elites. The people that are richer than Bill Gates, Abi. People that are richer than Elon Musk, they are in Nigeria. Stinking, dirty elites that all they have, that they are so poor, that all they have is money. My friend, do you know who you are talking to? Baba, who are you? You are talking to Eze Buruburu of Alaye Koshidano. Eze Buruburu in the shit hole. Have you seen my private jets? Have you seen my Rolls Royce? You need to visit my mansion in Lekki. Those are the elite of Nigeria, living in the contraption, the poverty capital of the world. Those are the stinking elites, the Nigerian elites, that all they have is money. After money, they've got nothing. So it is all rat race, my dear. And there's no win, there's no victory you get from it. You are still a rat in that contraption. So you can break the entire thing, the entire system, so that you will never be unfortunate with this kind of rogues. I told you, if you are focusing on Thiefnubu alone, and then the likes of El-Rufai, 36 types of El-Rufai pass through the different states in Nigeria every 4 years. They leave behind fears, sorrow, poverty, and blood. Break the system, completely destroy it, and you will destroy their source of energy. They have all the money they can use. In a rigged system, they have all the money to keep all of you in that rat race. I am not a rat, and I will not be a rat. I know you are going to say, I'm not a rat too, but come on. Anyway, the Nigeria workers, they possibly should be aware of what is coming for them. Okay? Somebody said, put the Nigerian politicians on minimum wage, and Nigeria will turn out good. Okay? In a year. And I kind of agree. Most of the things we complain about, lament about, things that takes people's lives, they are the things that could be, avoided. But corruption, selfishness, self-centeredness of these opportunists in public offices and their lackeys and their, I'm talking about their associates, their friends and families. They have now made things that could keep us alive. Things that could keep us alive are now things that are taking us away from taking our lives. Where people are dying because they can afford $1 medication, $2 medication. It can be that bad, or $10 medication. But the politician can afford to send their children themselves abroad for education, and they themselves as well for medical attention and medical care. Selfishness. But if a politician is unable to pay the private hospitals for his or her son's health challenge, do you think if they have a chance of approving the project that is going to give good qualitative health care for all, they won't sign it? They would. So, but they became offended yesterday because the Nigerian workers, they shut down the national grid, which means Nigeria had no electricity for a whole day, the whole of Nigeria, in protest, of course, against the poor pay. That the senators were being paid well, the lawmakers are earning well. They are the richest, the highest paid lawmakers in the entire world. And according to them, NSC guys, they have now gone too far in their campaign for good pay. That whatever they are being paid as lawmakers, it's none of the business of the NLC. They should face the executive that hired them without using them as the reason why they are angry because they are not being paid well. Moreover, telling the whole Nigeria of how much they are earning when it is not true is also like setting them up for drag and attack. That NLC is trying to make Nigerians hate them, as if to say you love them. Do you love your politicians? Anyway, they said the NLC is trying to make you hate them. And that's dangerous. And finally, many of them didn't see, they couldn't they couldn't access public water, they couldn't access electricity, all because of some people feel like they are not being paid well. That is not good. What about all the hospitals? What about the children in the incubators? What do you call that thing again? Like the premature babies. Suddenly, the Nigerian lawmakers are concerned that the workers shut down the electricity without thinking about the hospitals, about the mugs, about the children that need, electricity. The same people who are not mad and angry that the Nigerian national grid was collapsing, and it collapsed 246 times in 8 years under Buhari. Under Thiefnubu, it has collapsed for over 23 times under Thiefnubu in 1 year alone. Nobody was thinking about the hospitals when they take the electricity in your area for 1 month. And some areas don't even have electricity for the past 6 months. Nobody was thinking about the hospitals. Nobody cared about the children who need the light. But because the airports were shut, they couldn't fly in or fly out. And that affected them and many, many others. That's enough. We are not doing it anymore. This NLC, they don't care. How can you shut airport? All the emergency services, they now care about emergency services. Anyway, let me take you to the National Assembly. They were dragging that. But before that, okay, I'll take you to that one as well later. Let's go and see them, how worried they are. And now, whenever the NLC declares strike, there are some of you are government workers. You are not expected to strike. By law, they are turning you to the policemen. You cannot strike. If they tell you to go and shut down the seaport, you can't. Shut down the airport, you can't. Shut down this, you can't. You cannot stop elders from going about their normal businesses anymore. This one they read out.
Mechanism and so on. Senate recalls that the federal government on the 2nd April 2024 set up a 37-man tripartite committee with its membership drawn from the federal, state governments, organized labor, and the private sector. The terms of reference of the committee, among other things, is to recommend a new national minimum wage for the country. Also recall that the wage award, which was introduced by the federal government in September 2023, was expected to last for a period of 6 months, within which all the negotiations and deliberations on the new minimum wage must have been concluded. However, the assignment is still going on due largely due to conditions on the part of the organized labor and the federal government to reach an agreement and have a common ground on the matter. In spite of this development, the federal government, not being oblivious of the hardships of Nigerians are passing through, extended indefinitely the payment of the wage award pending the final determination of the national minimum wage, as discussions are further and further negotiations are still on. Senate notes that in spite of the efforts demonstrated by the federal government, the organized labor embarked on another indefinite strike, which has shut down all socio-economic activities in the country, particularly in the areas of health, national grid, the ongoing WAEG examination, and air travels, amongst others. This, without doubt, has dire and debilitating effects on our well-being and economies and the country's economy. Senate also notes that globally there is dwindling economic downturn, and Nigeria is not an exception. As such, all hands must be on deck to ensure that collectively we can overcome these challenges we are confronted with as a nation. Senate further notes that consequent upon the meeting held between organized labor and the federal government on Monday, 3rd June 2024, and the resolution reached therein, it is imperative that the organized labor suspends the ongoing indefinite strike to pave way for further negotiations, which are already yielding positive results. Accordingly, Senate resolves to urge the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress and all other affiliates to, as a matter of urgency and patriotism, call off the indefinite strike action embarked upon by them and return to negotiation table, which is still ongoing. 2. Senate urge the federal government to put measures and modalities.
So that's the beginning, okay? And then others also started talking. This one, the others are not reading. This is them now like speaking out their mind. It's not good. But we also ask the government to please listen to them, but please, don't shut the airport next time. We will need to stop them. What if we have something important to go and do somewhere? And they have shut the airport. The last time my wife was supposed to go and see her doctor. She missed her flight. We cannot allow that. She was supposed to be in Germany. Oh, my daughter was supposed to go for her graduation. Now she missed her flight. We cannot let that happen. It's dangerous for Nigeria. Very, very dangerous for Nigeria. So we need to make law to stop it. Listen to this one, though. This is Undume and the supposed deputy Senate presidents. Listen to them.
Because of his attainment. But I will quick to add that the news has just come to me and some other senators here that the organized labor comprising of the NLC and TUC has suspended the strike for 1 week. So whether the motion is good, but it has been overtaken by the suspension of the strike. So the Senate or the President will guide the Senate on what to do further. Because obviously, this motion, as good as it is, it has been overtaken by the suspension of the strike. And I feel there's no need to discuss the suspension of the strike having been suspended by the NLC and TUC. I so submit, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mohammed Ali Ndume, representing Borno South. Mr. President, the Deputy Senate President has spoken, but I want to bring to the attention of our colleagues that in 2019, in 2019, Clark, you're laughing at me. So even the clerk is trying to laugh at me.
The clerk is wondering where you were in 1929.
When labor is on strike, you see, it can get confused. But having said that, Mr. President, on a serious note, in 2019, this National Assembly passed a bill in which the minimum wage was pegged at 30,000 per month. And Section 3 of that act, which I have here, and I want to read. Every employer shall pay a minimum wage of not less than 30,000 per month to every worker under his establishment, except otherwise provided under this act. And Section 4 says, the national minimum wage expires after 5 years, and it shall be reviewed in line with the provision of this act. The law is there. So I'm suggesting, as much as negotiation is going on this fact, the national minimum wage is guided by law, an act of National Assembly. And if upward review or otherwise should be the responsibility of the National Assembly. And therefore, in suggestion to the ongoing negotiation, I don't even know where the negotiation will go, because even if it's negotiated, it is the National Assembly that will now make a law to review this one. This one has expired on the 23rd of April. And therefore, I'm suggesting that either this Senate can come under private bill, or the executive should, as required by law, bring an act, a bill.
So this is them still discussing that we don't know if you are aware, the law that says we should pay 30,000 naira minimum wage, which 24 states have disobeyed. Okay, 24 states in Nigeria. There are states in Nigeria that are still paying workers in their own states. The state where that Undume, that man that spoke last, where he came from, that is a Borno state. That state is still paying the minimum wage of 7,900 naira to school teachers. Yes, you heard me right. That's not a slip. 7,900 naira salary paid to school teachers in Borno. And you know what they said about that? They said, because, you know, it's not like that. The salary of teachers is different. And the workers in Borno, some local government, they don't exist again. Boko Haram, they control them. So because they just don't want to make those people feel like they are jobless, they don't get job again. That is why the state government is paying them small money. I tell you. Wage bill, 7,900 naira a month, school teachers. But when those they paid 50,000, 100,000 to launder the image of that Zulum in Borno, those ones who are telling you that the reason why Zulum is paying school teachers 7,900 naira a month in 2024 is because Boko Haram have taken over their villages. They have taken over their schools. Zulum just didn't want them to be hungry. That's why he's paying them that money. But guess what? All of the local government areas that are now being controlled by Boko Haram terrorists in Borno states today, they are collecting their full allocation from Abuja, like they are still operating, they are still existing. Projects, salary of workers, all of those things there, now right at the right time. There's no documentation for them anymore. Just collect the money and tell the people, we are buying them bag of rice now. Can you not see the video of them sharing rice? Have you not seen the new houses they just built for refugees? Come on, don't stop asking all those questions, Jerry. The man is doing his best to help the people there. A dysfunctional society. That's where that guy came from. All right. However, they believe that even if Thiefnubu says he's going to pay you 60,000, it will still need to go and make a bill to make it law, even though people want to follow it. But yeah, let's just make it law. But shutting down the airport, that's far too much. Listen to Oji Uzo Kalu. He also contributed. Just listen.
Stepping down the bill, I would like Mr. President and the entire Senate to please pay more attention to these people, because I know how much people have lost in the last 24 hours. I think 60,000 might be sounding very good. Let the Senate, in the wisdom, the whole of Senate members, let us see what we can do in persuading both Labour and the federal government in looking at between 75 and 90,000 naira. Because if you go by 90,000 naira, it means in the last 5 years, which this law was made, it means if you divide 90,000 times, divide 200%, let's say it's 200%, 90,000, divided by 5 is 40. And the food inflation, the purchasing parity, and other things we have in the market is also about 32% to 33%. So Labour should be very happy in what we are saying. So we must not only look or wait to make law. We must say that a delegation both to Labour, like we have did before, and also to the federal government, and saying, let us up to 90,000 naira. And every party should stop at that, because if they postpone for 1 week and nothing is doing, look at pulling down national grid. Mr. President, is not an easy job. That national grid might take another 3-4 days to come up, because shutting down a national grid, starting it up is a problem. So everybody must stand up today, if it means closing this plenary, for you and few other people to go to the executive and go to labor and stop this, because this is not good for our country. People are trying to pull down democracy, and we must not allow that to happen, because we know the importance of democracy. So labor must be cautioned, and the federal government also must be cautioned to be encouraged to be able to come to a common ground with labor. We cannot just wait and wait. So my submission is that 90,000 naira is about 40% increment in the labor something. It's not bad. It's going to be difficult for some private sectors to pay, but we just have to bear the bill. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity.
So even mentioning an amount is as if we are debating. There is a tripartite committee set up by the federal government with the TUC, NLC, and they are discussing. And what they have just done now is to resume the negotiations. A lot of variables will be taken into consideration before they arrive at any particular figure. Just by way of information, the Senate leadership, in combination with the House leadership, myself in attendance, the Right Honorable Speaker Tajuddin in attendance, we met with both sectors. We met with organized labor, the TUC, the NLC. We met with the Secretary to Government of the Federation, Minister of Finance, and all those, including the head of service. And we met for over 5 hours to see whether we could come into this resolution that they have arrived at now: suspend the strike, resume negotiations. So let us not debate much. Let us give them the opportunity to resume negotiations.
Are you following? Yeah, that's how they are dropping the number. Oji Uzokalu even tried to do an economic calculation. You see, when you divide, I'm thinking 95,000, 90,000. And if you divide 90,000 by 4 of this thing, you see, it's 33% because of food. He dropped all those nonsense jargons just to say 90,000. It's not bad. Even those on organized private sectors they may find it difficult, but let us find a way around it and pay 90,000. In Nigeria, the money is sounding so big. Nigerians have been so browbeaten. They have been so psychologically assaulted that everyone that is hearing 400,000, 500,000, they are just automatically like, hey, 500,000, Abba. Maybe you should just take 70. Take 70. A bag of rice is going for 100,000 soon. Then Thiefnubu and gang, and those who are trying to convince you that 400,000, it's a lot of money. But the same set of people, they want you, okay, to receive 120% salary increase, which is the basic. At the end of the day, maybe those of you are earning 100,000, 200,000 salary. So with these arrangements, what you are going to get extra is probably going to be 30,000, 40,000 too. So it's going to be like 100,000 salary. You are now going to be earning 130,000. But that's going to be like 100% or 120. No, that's not you. But basic share, 30,000 to 70,000. That's 120%, Abi. Or you are going to go to the world where your own food inflation is about 400%. A bag of rice that jumped from 35,000 was once 7,000. Now it is over 85,000. Gari, the basic food, the basic staples that, because everywhere now is about food affordability. No be say food no deal. Now to afford to be able to buy and eat is the issue. But the likes of these guys are like 90,000. Now, what do you think 90,000 would do for a family of a 4 in Nigeria? Sincerely. So you are expected to have, to have a 100% salary increase in a country with hyperinflation that is over 400% inflation. Everything from transportation to rent to medicals to food. You know what I'm talking about. That's over 400%. So which means somehow, it is like what the Yoruba call afiaje, mama feayo. Afiaje, mama feayo is a Yoruba word for somebody who is pretending to be helping you, but they were actually burying you. Afiaje mama feayo tó ń fúnni ní oko ìdí ọ̀pẹ ro. That's pretty much what it is. Iṣẹ́ lárí àrówó. Ọ̀gá iṣẹ́. Ọ̀gá. But you adjusted the textbook definition of what poverty looks like when it walks on the streets, as you have many in Nigeria today. Ọ̀gá iṣẹ́. Ọ̀gá iṣẹ́ lọ̀gbẹ́ni ẹ̀. Go and call me ọ̀gá iṣẹ́. Ọ̀gá iṣẹ́ lẹ́ni lóòótọ́. Because of the visibility of the poverty, deprivation. Because all you do is work. And what you take, your take-home pay can't take you home. But that's their own modus operandi. 90,000. That's a lot of money. 90,000. Guess how much is 90,000 in Nigeria? Guess. Well, you don't have to guess. Just divide the 90,000 by 1,500 naira. And you are going to get that in dollars. The 90,000 is probably just about $60. Well, that's an improvement from $28 a month to $60 being offered. Again, listen to this.
You couldn't leave anybody land. So it went back to Saudi Arabia empty. So those pilgrims couldn't go.
And no, we are not going to debate.
You get that? How can your strike stop the pilgrims from going to Mecca? Do you understand what that means? No, we need to make law. Do you know that strike affected the people that want to go and pray in Mecca? Remember that the federal government of Nigeria gave the people to go and pray for Nigeria in Mecca 90 billion naira. Nigeria spent over 700 billion naira sending people to Mecca in 2024 alone. Do you understand what that means? You cannot be striking like that. That is the Deputy Senate President. Listen again.
You couldn't leave anybody land. So it went back to Saudi Arabia empty. So those pilgrims couldn't go.
And no, we are not going to debate. But no, we are not. Please, let's not debate. But I understand that even children that were taking WAEC ICT examination were pushed out of their examination halls. And WAEC is a West African event. It is not a Nigerian event. That means that those children will have to wait for another 1 year before they can go and take another WAEC exam. So there are so many things involved in what is going on. So my personal opinion would be that we thank them for agreeing to go back to the negotiation table. We urge the federal government to expedite action on negotiations in order to arrive at something that is acceptable, at least acceptable to both parties, or something that is reasonably acceptable to both parties. And then immediately thereafter, since the last minimum wage has expired, as an act of parliament, they should immediately send us an executive bill for us to commence work. It is when we are doing our work with the next executive bill that we will.
So talking about the executive bill, the former rubber stamp, the former Senate President, the rubber stamp Lawan, also added his own voice. And it's not just the people that wanted to go back to Mecca that the plane that was supposed to take them flew back empty. That is actually a threat against the national. It is a threat against the national security. Yeah, that's a serious sin. Okay. However, they want the Thiefnubu gang to send them a bill. Okay, a bill of, we have now agreed that we are going to pay them 70,500 naira as an act of parliament. But that is not the only solution. We need to make laws to stop the workers from shutting down national grid. Because if they shut it down like this, it can take up to 4 days to wake up again. We need to stop them from shutting down the airports. People who won't go Mecca cannot be stopped from going to their Mecca because some of you are not being well paid. So if you are a government worker working at the airport, you need to resume that day by law. You have to be there. You cannot disrupt the lives of those who would like to live like what you are facing in Nigeria is not happening. Don't interrupt us. Now listen to the rubber stamp Lawan, the thief. Look at his face very well when I play this video. You see this thief that you're going to see on your screen now is the guy that collected $30 million. Hang on. 14.5 and then 25. Yeah. $30 million bribe from Bokwari's government and Emefiole's central bank in order to legitimize the illegality of printing money without the Senate approval, without the approval of the National Assembly. Bokwari printed 27.4 trillion naira in 8 years without the approval of the National Assembly. Then 4 days before Bokwari will hand over to Thiefnubu, the Senate of Nigeria met and they passed a bill that says Bokwari requested approval for all those money printed from the National Assembly. Yes, that happened. This guy collected $30 million. We wouldn't have known about it if not because the $14.5 million given to Gbajabia Mole to share among the House of Representative members that were going to vote yes, Bokwari got the approval. All the loans, all the money borrowed by Bokwari was approved. They were approved by the National Assembly so that Bokwari will not be committed to prison, that he committed illegality. Just in case if you don't know, I have to remind you. $14.5 million was given to Gbajabia Mole. They were supposed to share the money among the House of Representatives members. $10,000 was supposed to be given to each of them. No, hang on. They were supposed to be given like about $100,000 each. Gbajabia Mole shared $3.6 million. And that is $10,000 for each member of that National Assembly, that House of Representatives time, when Gbajabia Mole was their speaker. It happened. It is true. But I know a lot of you who are like the one Nigerianists who will want us to pretend that we are all suffering from the Stockholm syndrome. You are not majority of you are not suffering from Stockholm syndrome. You are suffering from selective amnesia, where you can pretend that you can't remember. That happened just May last year. And that was why within a space of 15 minutes, the National Assembly, under that rubber stamp law, they deliberated on trillions of naira that Bukwari printed. $50 billion. They spent 15 minutes to look into all of that, and they approved it as legit, because they were bribed, they were given money. The guy is back. He never contested for the primary election from the Yobe state he came from. He never contested the primary election for the Senate. But the Nigerian Supreme Court of Injustice rewarded him with the ticket. So he is back as the member of the Nigerian Senate, and he has something to say about this minimum wage. Do you want to listen? Just a quick one.
Mr. President, I think the issue is whether we debate this or not. Shouldn't be our main focus. I believe that the negotiations will hold between now and the next 1 week, and you still have some role to play as our leaders in this. My thinking is we cannot fix any figure here. We cannot contemplate any figure. But I also believe that, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it's not all about figure. Some economic policies could really help. Some economic policies. What are these policies? Mr. President, I don't know them. But I believe that enhancing the value of our currency, the naira, is such an important issue, because that will have whatever it is that we are able to provide us minimum wage to help Nigerians. And while the Labour, NLC and TUC are the ones clamoring for the minimum wage, I want to remind us that we have the rest of Nigerians who will be going to the same market, who may not enjoy any minimum wage. So as we deal with the minimum wage, Mr. President, we should also be thinking of those who have no employment at all, because they constitute the bulk of those we represent. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you. On the negotiation, otherwise it will mean that we are jumping the gun and we are trying to settle the issues for them. There are many variables that they will look at. Capacity to pay and the ability of states, local governments, and private sector to even pay. They will also be looking at the fact that if the minimum wage is too high, then the possibility of retrenchment of workers will occur. And I think they will take comparative analysis to know that the last minimum wage, which was fixed by this parliament as an act of 30,000 naira, how many states were able to pay? How many local governments were able to pay? How many employers of labor were able to pay? We'll be looking at those things, because it's important that a holistic approach be looked at. And I have taken the suggestion that we should not rest until we arrive at an amicable resolution of the issue, that the National Assembly leadership should also continue to make its own contributions towards the ongoing negotiations. On that note, I want to thank the Nigerian Labour Congress and the TUC for listening to the voice of Nigerians and the international community, calling out the strike to enable negotiations to continue.
Again, the reason why I am giving you the backstories of these guys is just to help you understand that person on your screen. Not just a Nigerian politician that is corrupt. You need to understand what they did. So that when you are watching them, you are not looking at somebody who is pretending to have a solution. It doesn't. He's a chancer. An average Nigerian politician is a chancer, opportunist. So when I give you their backstory, so that you can easily see and say, no wonder. These are career criminals whose filthy hands and their selfish greed have led to the death of the dreams of millions of people across Nigeria from inside that chamber. They even almost fought themselves because they were debating the budget of FCT submitted by Werewike. Same characters that were trying to discuss what is better as a bill. Baba, these guys, they are drawing salaries of, hundreds of millions of naira just to pay those they selected as their own staff. None of them pay anyone working for them 90,000 naira. Talk less of 30,000, that's minimum wage. Honestly, if I'm a senator in Nigeria, guy, they go pay me, they go give me about 10 million naira to pay people working for me every month. So I can choose to just get my brother, my sister, and then maybe my girlfriend's brother, and then his own girlfriend. I just put them on the payroll. And then I put my boyfriend's, number, including his own girlfriend's number. I just have to put my pals, my family, and all of them. And I just tell them I'll pay you 500,000 naira each. Maybe 6 of you. That's 3 million naira. So that's enough. Or maybe 10 of you. That's 5 million naira. The remaining 5 million, I can use that one to do philanthropist every month in Odogbolu. And they will see me as a great person. All of that will be paid for by Nigeria. But yet I can go on there and say, you see, the plumbers, the this, the that, they just pay them 30,000 because Nigeria cannot afford to pay more. So they were fighting themselves, God knows. Or maybe you do know why they will fight themselves. It is not because they care. It is because they need to know what is in it for them. Here is a FCT budget. And because by law, there are those who are to debate the budget of the FCT. And look at them.
There is nothing before us to debate. So if so the leader of the Senate, you heard his observation. There is nothing before us to debate. Therefore, I will put the question. Those who are in support that this supplementary appropriation be now read a second time, say aye. Those against say nay. Leader, approach.
Distinguished colleagues, the good thing about it is that the gamble has not yet landed.
And without any reservation, agree with the observation made by distinguished Senator Sani Musa, and of course re-echoed through the voice vote of our dear colleagues. Mr. President, it is our tradition in Parliament that when a money bill is presented, the agency that is bringing it through the relevant committee would attach a breakdown of the proposed budget estimates. In addition, we'll also attach a budget performance report on what this parliament previously passed. And the lead debate that was passed on to me, which I presented, of course, did not contain this. And to my surprise, the distinguished chairman of the committee, distinguished Senator Bomai, who is well respected by all of us as a distinguished member of this hallowed chamber, eventually came up with the breakdown of this budget estimate. But Mr. President, what is important is that observation had already been made. And what was submitted to me after I presented a lead debate cannot be deemed to have been presented to this Senate.
Hello?
They rob themselves as well. So in their budget of 2024, Thiefnubu presented an empty box, nothing inside it. But they gave a copy of what was supposed to be the budget proposal of Thiefnubu to all of the members. Okay? So when all of the members who had a copy, they were like all going through it and all of that. Okay. Then the next thing, it was like, the ayes have it. Okay. The budget is passed. No scrutiny, no nothing. Okay. But those who still have the copy, they have questions, but they were not allowed to debate it. So the budget was passed. Thiefnubu signed it. They've padded it with 7 trillion naira. So few days after that, some of the senators that they gave the copy, supposed copy of what Thiefnubu submitted, which is an empty box, nothing inside. They were now reading a supposed copy that they said is passed, was passed by them. So when they started comparing the two, they were like, no, this is not what, this is different. The people that raised the alarm, they suspended 2 of them for raising alarm. But they still passed it anyway. Now, you just hear that one there. Now, where the weekend send the supplementary budget, I have not seen anything like this in my life. They passed 2024 budget. Baba, this is just June 2024. The budget for FCT last year, where the weekend collected over 200 billion naira supplementary budgets. And that is what they claim that he spent to renovate those roads, to renovate the metro line and all of that. So he's received more money than any FCT minister in history with a weekend. That was that. Then he now wrote a budget with a weekend alone's budget inside the 2024 budget is over 600 billion naira for FCT. Abuja alone. Now, this is June. Wike don't submit another 98 billion naira supplementary budget. December never reach you. And that is the one there. Okoyemi Bamidele was like, this is different from the one I submitted. This is different from the one I submitted, the motion I moved. My president, Mr. President. But did you see where he was like, those in support say hi, those against say nay, and then the nay were like, nay, but it will never hit the gavel. The gavel was to let the nays have it. That means that supplementary budget has been rejected. They needed a quick cash. See, have you noticed how billions don't mean anything to these people anymore? It used to be millions. All of you in your 60s and 70s, do you remember when they used to publish, there was no internet, they used to publish the salary of public officials in Nigeria. And there was a time that there was a real problem. Minimum wage in Nigeria was somewhere around 30 naira or so, okay? And the president of Nigeria was to collect 50,000 naira salary, annual salary. They look at the salaries of others. Vice president, 30,000. A year, it's not a month, not monthly salary, a year. Divided by 12. That was the salary of them in 1979. Senate president, 22,000. Speaker, 20,000. Ministers, 16,000. Secretary to the government, 16,000. Special advisors, 16,000. You see that on your screen, Abby? Then you go to the you go to the senators, 17,000. House of Rep, 16,000. Leader of the House of Rep, 17,500. Senate committee chairman, 17K. Committee chairman, House of Rep, 16,500. And all of that. Here you get. But have you noticed now that people don't talk about thousands? They don't talk about millions. Billions is like thousands to this guy. They construct a kilometer of road for 4 billion, 3 billion. You go to poor states in Nigeria, they are constructing road at, poor road, they are constructing road at 1 billion per kilometer, 2 billion per kilometer, just to steal money. And that is why in the middle of 2024, there is no reports of how Wike spent the 200 billion they gave him towards the end of last year. Wike is here to give accounts of the budget performance between January and this June. Ogbeni don smuggle in supplementary budget of 98 billion. And now waiting cost wahala for the Senate be that. But guess what? They still passed it. Even though the nays were supposed to have it. Rejected. They still passed it. Wike will get his money. And he's already told everybody. With the way Thiefnubu said he brought him in specially. So that Wike can come and perform the magic that he performed in River States in Abuja. But Fubara disagrees. Wike is like El-Rufai. If Wike did not, if Wike, I should put it this way, if Fubara had been like Ubasani, Wike would have been like El-Rufai today. Yes. He won't have the audacity to actually wage war against Fubara. Because according to Fubara, Wike also left over 400 billion naira liability with more than 100 uncompleted projects, unpaid contractors who are demanding for their money now. But Wike is a minister. He still have the ear of Gbajabi Amole, the Gbajabi Amoran. Now, Gbajabi Amole will kind of like, well, Thiefnubu said Wike was brought in on a purpose, and he is going to fulfill that purpose in Abuja. And I think he's enjoying it too, so to say. So Fubara says, my government is not about flyovers. It is about the real development. I like it. It's part of the Agbas goals that we have been monitoring. Here is Fubara yesterday.
Great project that was initiated by that administration. But I think they didn't do proper study before venturing into it. The cost of that project would have been cheaper if we had kept it. You go to Europe, the rail line is on normal road, vehicles will run, rail will pass. The cost of this alone, we got to a point. In fact, I also don't blame the man too. Let's be honest. When that project started, it wasn't supposed to be a project that the government would spend money. That was the truth. It was supposed to be a PPP project. We're supposed to maybe invest a certain amount of money and the investor will take over, run the project, manage it for so number of years, and after which we'll start maybe paying small things to the government. But somehow the government was duped. I use the word duped because when the man had his passion to start it and committed the first part of the money, the investor did not meet his own part. And I don't hold anything against him. If it's something we can do, definitely will. But we cannot go to that kind of thing now. But if we have anybody who is willing to come and put money, because we're making this place investment friendly, fine. We'll definitely welcome the idea and support, but not too much. We're building the 20,000 housing units. Now, these 20,000 housing units, I will shock you now. If you are aware, when Amechi came in, he brought a policy, Greater Port Harcourt, and he acquired a lot of land from the Ikwere Axis, all those places. And everybody knows that those lands were paid for. When the immediate past administration came in, greater number of that land were also given to people for development. When TAP approached us and we did our own survey through the through Greater Port Harcourt City Development Agency, gave them a land, and as soon as they commenced the project, we've gotten over 52 litigations. People coming to claim that the land belongs to them. Is to tell you the level of sabotage that this government is facing. When I say I don't like to talk, I have a reason. But it has to get to a point when you tell people, tell the world that this is what it is. We have this project, we call it spare parts village, that we wanted to, the previous administration already had arrangements. Even before that time, we came in, took up this project, called the partners who could not continue because their investors were Russians. And when the crisis started, they couldn't come in with their funds again. But because they committed money there, we had to call a new investor, come and take over this thing. An investor came. We agreed, paid off the old investor. The new man started. You won't believe that people who don't want us to succeed even had to go and call the former investor, ask him to take us to court. But thank God for those of us who still have fear and respect for God. And the man said, am I taking them to court for what? The man called us. We sat, we discussed, and paid us off. What justification do I have? How can I even look at the man? If there's anything this government is suffering, sabotage. Economic summit that we had, every notable speaker that we invited were called. What are you going to do there now? Hey, not going to embarrass me. What are you going to do there? I'm telling you. But to the glory of God, we had few men and women who had the courage to come out and stand with us. Bridges are not going to be a legacy. No. We want to go beyond bridges. I won't limit my legacy to only Trans-Calabari Road, the Ring Road, Port Harcourt, the Ekiri Road. No. I want to develop human capacity.
Okay. So that's a Fubara there that is now showing that he's found his voice. Man, life can be really, really funny. Fubara was the accountant general for Rivers State when Wike was the governor. Wike was looting money like the money was going out of fashion. It was the Father Christmas, it's the Big Daddy, the Zaddy, for those that he also freaked. Freaky time. He's got so much money. And he's got no supervision, no check and balance or or whatsoever. He was looting, and he was also a cheerful giver. But you see all the looting and covering the book and hiding the whole thing from, possibly the prying eyes of EFCC and other anti-corruptions, whatever. Fubara is like the man who knows where the bodies are buried. So when he was declared wanted, Wike took it upon himself to protect him. Because by protecting Fubara, Wike was protecting himself. He had immunity. But the story would have been a different ball game today if the EFCC at the time were able to lay their hands on Fubara. So for a whole year, I don't even think Fubara wanted to be governor. Wike had to make him governor. He had to make him interested in being governor. When it was time for them to campaign and tell the people what they want to do, it will be Wike talking, telling the people what Fubara will do, why Fubara will stand behind him, protected by the police, the DSS that declared him wanted, by the way. And immediately they lived there. Fubara was living inside government house in Port Harcourt, hiding away from those looking for him. Okay? Then it worked. A contraption, a corrupt system finally made him governor. And then the whole wala followed. A lot of Rivers never heard Fubara talk or speak. And it was really, really hard one for him at the early stage of the confrontation. But he seems to be coming out of his shell now. He is out of his shell with his sustenance. Then I think we'll leave that for time to tell. Watch this the concluding part of himself having a media parley, talking about himself and talking about what he's been able to do or what he intends to do. And all thanks to the fact that he's been able to do away with the Wike. Wike who is also getting ready, counting days for the showdown in Rivers. But yeah, Fubara.
Second phase, first phase. There is nothing like a first phase. What we had in the state was doing a bridge that connects Degema to Krakrama. And for you to access that place, you need to still go into the heart of Calabari. What we just did was to award what they call the original Trans-Calabari Road, which will brings you into Port Harcourt. It's not taking you from Elele. You start going that fast if you're going to Mbiama. No. Here, you just drive into the heart of Port Harcourt. That is the one where we just awarded. I believe you also heard it and you watched it on the tele where we invited our father, the former president, to come and flag off for us. That project will cost the state 225 billion. So far, we've already paid 30% of it, which is about 67 billion. Down payment is our commitment. We also done one other major project, which is the Elele Ebeda Omok. For those of you that go to that axis of the state, if you're going to Omok, from there you can also access Imo. You will notice that from the Elele axis, that road is a trunk A road, but it's bad. In fact, it has been a death trap. A lot of crimes have been committed there. So we're also dualizing that road. That particular road is costing us about 80 billion. For that one, we have also commenced work, awarded to a contractor, and paid 50%. This, you don't even need to be an accountant. Just check the money there. You can imagine how much we have spent. Apart from the ring road that we took a facility for, these other ones were projects that we have paid from our savings. When we came on board, the first thing we had to do was to work to see that we improve our IGR. And by the grace of God, the savings at that time, from when the IGR improved, I don't need to go and spend money to anybody. I want to spend the money for Rivers people. So I've been saving. Maybe that is why they say I'm a bad person. But if at the end of the day, what counts is the project that you deliver, project that will change the life of Rivers State, project that will change the face and the economic status of the state. Things we want to do in the health sector. We came in and met a very, forget about what you read and what you see, the issue of hospitals, cancer, mother and child. The only functional health centers that we have is the University Teaching Hospital, the one you have in Choba, that belongs to the university at the Uniport, and the one you have here in OGRO that belongs to the Rivers State University. That is the only functional health service. We don't have what we call intermediary health services. It's not there. None. The only thing we have that we have to improve on is the primary health sector. By the special grace of God, we're able to at least improve the status of about 36 of it. So we already have the target of making sure that in the next 1 month or so, there will be active activities in improving the status of the tertiary, moreover, in fact, the intermediary.
So I wanted him to say all of that to you. Because remember, he once said, the moment he stopped giving Werewike the 30% from all revenue accrued to River States, as was agreed, he said the moment he stopped giving that money, he had more money. In fact, he came out to say he has now been able to increase the IGR of River States, right? From 13 billion to over 27 billion naira a month. Everybody knows that what he's saying is that Werewike is not because he did anything, no. He didn't do anything new. He's talking about savings, right? I don't have to give money to anybody. He's talking about Wike, and he's talking about saving money. So the story behind saving money is that the moment he stopped giving Werewike money, he has so much money that he was able to announce to the people like, IGRT increased, so we have been lying to you all this while that River State is generating between 10 billion and 11 billion. We're actually generating about 30 billion. But he didn't say that to them. He told them now that River State is now generating 27 billion naira a month. And that would be like over 300 billion a year next to Lagos. All he did was just to stop giving money to Werewike. And Werewike has no access to that money anymore. He has so much money that he could award the road contracts of 200 billion naira and still save money. And still be able to make deposit of over 30% and all that. That's why I wanted him to list all of that. But just remember, he became governor because he was helping with a wicked to snatch away the stolen River State money. And that is also like El-Rufai. They have something they have same thing in common. El-Rufai stole 423 billion. With a wiki, when EFCC was looking for Fubara, they were looking for Fubara because with a wiki stole 430 billion. Now only 7 billion intake more. Right. Thiefnubu saved with a wiki, and it could have saved El-Rufai too. Anyway, Shash, don't forget. So if you think Fubara is turned a good leaf, he now loves rivers. Well, I go there here. When the Kasala will also blow. And when the rest of you are going to tell Fubara, we stood by you when Wiki was fighting you. We will show you that this is River State. I will be here. And will be. Because I've seen this happen many times. So I have something for those of you who came back and kept firing me. Somebody sent this to me and said, Maiyegun, don't ever try that again. To try to defend anybody who actually gave their public support to APC by bringing Thiefnubu and these murderous kleptomaniac criminals to power. When we want to react to them, please, Maiyegun, don't ever try that again. Don't ever stop us. Somebody sent that to me, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. He said, you are pitying this girl because she's crying. Are you for real? Now they send me this video.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Today is your birthday, Abby.
Happy birthday, Charles. Happy birthday, Charles. No.
Birthday.
My movie director. I'm loyal, man.
You're not loyal. I'm tired of you.
The way you're loyal to Baba, I'm loyal to you, man.
But I want to disown you.
Why do you want to disown me?
Because I love you too much. You're a good person.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
So happy birthday. Amen. And you too.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday once again.
That makes people more angrier. And I understand. And I also respect your hate. If it is hate, by the way. But finally, somebody said, Maiyegun, please take calls, Jerry. We want to go to bed. Are you sure? Anyway, before you go to your bed, remember to like this broadcast, like it, share it. And I will use this one. That's just a kind of a closing before we open the line. The same representatives, well, apart from the Senate or senators, the representatives are now saying they should use the same alacrity they use in passing the old new national anthem. New old national anthem. And use that to pass a minimum wage bill too and pay the workers.
I will urge this House to please, with the speed with which we pass the national anthem, that we should also recall the Minimum Wage Act, reconsider it, and with that same speed, pass that act and ensure that we give the Nigerian worker a living wage in that act. That is the only way.
First is welfare, security. This is what is enshrined in the Constitution. And so I want to align myself with those who are of the opinion that this matter should be resolved as quickly as possible through every other means to ensure that we have a peaceful nation. Mr. Speaker, the law of Nigeria recognizes that as a person, you are entitled to 1 wife, 4 children, and then your mother and father. These are the things that you are entitled to take care, even in the tax relief or whatever. These are the indices and the factors given to us. And so by implication, you are supposed to have that minimum wage that will cater for this number of persons. And I want to say that, yes, government have tried in the past, government is trying now, but then we have to do a lot.
Has to look at section 16, 2D of Nigerian Constitution. It says that suitable and adequate shelter, suitable and adequate food, reasonable and national minimum living wage shall be provided for the Nigerian worker. So paying a living wage, and I know everybody here understand what living wage means. There is a difference between minimum wage and living wage. What the Nigerian worker...
Do you understand the difference? Minimum wage is like the minimum that you can be paid. But your minimum wage must never be lower than a living wage. A living wage is that what is considered adequate for a family of 4, okay, to be able to afford your food, your what do you call it, your medical supplies, your transportation, your rent, and then basic things, and be able to pursue your own happiness from what you are earning. Well, all you have in Nigeria is called a slave wage. And those guys sounded like they care. Anyway, thank you so much for all of that. I implore you to drop your offerings, okay? Like the video, like the broadcast. If you have already done that, don't do it again. And you can grab your phone, right? And then call in to say your own piece when I come back from this break. So also, to those who are asking me for, Maiyegun, what's that link? If I really want to send in my own support for your program and all that, I have managed to share them again based on request. I've shared them in the comment section. Use them. And I'll tell you, for every support, right? There is always going to be a kiss from me. Like that, to say thank you. Oh, and thank you, by the way. I am going to be back in a minute or two. And if you are going to be part of this, you can call in anytime now. Don't go anywhere. Thank you so much. And saving our time, I do have my first caller though. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Maiyegun. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, the general. How is family? How is your wife and your kid?
Well, we thank God we are here, How are you?
I'm doing fine. We thank God. Yeah, a day without Maiyegun general, something special is missing. It's not complete.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's not. Like I always say, you always give us the hope that a good people exist. No matter how the evil people try to overwhelm the good people, but there are still good people in the street.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. You always give us that instinct that all hope is not gone. Despite the system is everywhere. You know, the system is everywhere, even in the bank, even in the judiciary, you know, but Maiyegun is there. The voice is there. The voice is there. And we appreciate. Day by day, day in, day out, different topic. Day in, day out, different topic. Meanwhile, other people are there creating content. But Maiyegun is here. He choose to enlighten us. He choose to educate us in a different way, with a language all of us will understand. And that is what we want, not content. God will bless you, God will strengthen you, and your strength will never fail you, Maiyegun. And we are here to always support you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You have a good one, Baba. All right. Thank you very much for that. So that's Polapenga, in case if you sort of wondering what was that. Okay. And also, just remember, okay, if you are calling from outside the UK, in fact, just dial the number the way it appears if you are calling from outside the UK. Just plus the 44. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hi, General. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. In fact, my name is Kachi.
Kachi, did you say?
Yes, Kachi. I'm calling from Canterbury in Kent.
In Kent.
Yes.
Kachi, sir, how are you this evening?
I'm very, very fine.
Grand. And thanks so much for calling in, though. Yeah, please.
I'm very, very delighted, you know, listening to your program. In fact, I've been on it throughout the day. I'm off from work, so I've been listening to your program, going to the past ones that I missed, and I must tell you that I'm so delighted, so happy for the work you're doing. May God continue to bless you, protect you, and keep you for us.
Amen.
In fact, just to digress a bit, you know, I've had, you know, there was a time that Baba Ahmed said something. He said that he could say one or two things about Shetima that could destroy him. Shetima never responded to that up till now.
Never.
And there was a time he made a statement again that I think recently he could say one or two things that could destroy Prof. And he never responded to it. So I kept wondering, could it be there is something this man knows that we don't know about? Would it be that I think there must be something he knows that and these people don't respond. So I keep, you know, wondering. It's been, you know, I've been thinking about it. What would that be?
Instead of responding to him, they will be calling on Obi to talk to them and correct your people. Correct. They will say Obi is the one to be punished.
Exactly.
Instead of responding to him.
Exactly. So I've been wondering, what is it? It could be that this man knows something that we don't know about. I don't know, and maybe he should even keep his mouth shut so that they will allow them to get to. Because if you know too much, they may not even want you to get to that seat, you know. And then they say, because if you know too much, that means if you get there, you may undo and undo. So
that's your own suspicion is that you have managed to observe how many of them, how he's kind of fire at these guys, right? But they never fire back that way. Rather, they just turn it to Obi and then begin to batch him. So that's a very good observation there.
Exactly. I've been concerning that of El-Rufai. I remember his son coming recently talking about Obi and his father not being Obi's match, and they wanted to probe your father. You became a viper. The Twitter names are, you know, that you're ready to fight and all that. I keep wondering, could it be that actually, there maybe something actually happened? Because why should you be this angry? Okay, if your father is clean, I don't think you should be that angry. I don't think it should bother you much.
You could see the level of hate.
Exactly.
In that young man. He's a young man. He's a young boy.
Yes.
Right? But
yes.
I don't expect somebody that young to be carrying such hatred in him.
Yes.
It was so obvious that he was raging. You could smell it from far and say, oh my God.
Yes. So I said, well, and I know this father has some influencers, some
to try and whitewash him.
Even some pastors, from this southern part and influencers. Even recently, I don't so much hear or see Omojua comment anymore because I know that that's one of his disciples. He doesn't talk much again. I hardly see him on Twitter.
They are irrelevant. Majority of them are now irrelevant.
Yes.
Because more people are now aware, okay, of what is going on around them. And they can easily tell those who have been taking them for a ride simply because they are young people too. And majority of them who also put everything they had inside the APC. Today, they are actually irrelevant, except in the circle of those who are still patronizing them. So if people like that come out to say they want to whitewash El-Rufai, people are already aware that there are people who wanted to whitewash him. So these days, you must have nothing anymore, nothing valuable to you in life anymore before you go and take a gig from El-Rufai to help them whitewash him online. It is that bad now, that bad, because people are more aware now.
Yeah, exactly.
You remember our man now, Sega. Oh, I love
Sega. Yes, Sega Link.
Well, the moment he came for,
somebody
this what happened to him.
Yeah, somebody who used to rally around, you know,
with so much respect.
Immediately, Atiku, was no longer an option. It became something else. So I don't know. In fact, some people we actually, hoped on. People we thought that, we are there for us.
Yeah, to remain steadfast. But it be like the shege happening in that country. Behind the scene, there are so many people who are like standing today that won't stand for long because of the economic challenges, their life challenges, and they will figure it out later and say, well, I don't think I am cut out to fight for people. And they will unleash. That's why I said, stop looking for people to come and fight for you. If you can't fight for yourself, you are setting yourselves up for people who are going to take advantage of that and say, I'm a human rights fighter. I'm a this or that. Once they cash out, they will drop you like a used tissue. Nobody should subject themselves to that. And I'm glad that a lot of people are actually learning that and making some of these answers relevant politically. I like it.
Yeah, it's true. The last election actually revealed a lot of things, and then you showed the true color of many people.
Many.
And then we then know those that are actually fighting for the people. Okay, people like Jimmy D2. I always follow his program. Yes, for Buhari, he supported Buhari the first time, but later he realized, that he wasn't an option. He changed, and those are the kind of people that they actually wanted something good for the country. Okay, not that because of sentiment.
Personal gain.
Yes, but there are some people that even they saw that Buhari did not perform. They kept supporting.
Yeah, not just supporting him. They kept gaslighting people. They were calling people enemies of Nigeria for criticizing all of the Boko Haram's policies. At the end of the day, the people they called enemies of Nigeria, they were right. The supposed lovers of Nigeria, see what they did with Nigeria.
Exactly. So, in fact, I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you. I'll continue to thank you. Thank you for the work you're doing.
Thanks,
I'm so happy. Some of us are here not because we want to be here. I was listening to your program, the previous one. A man was saying something about that if you have opportunity, all of us should be in Nigeria now, which is true. Okay. Some of us would like to be at home, but because of the situation of things,
we are having second thoughts,
Yeah, we are here, under cold. When it's winter, you just have to carry on with life. Okay, not because of we wanting to be here, but if the opportunity is there and the country is good, who wouldn't want?
We can even create the opportunity. What we want them is to make the place safe.
Exactly.
We know they will never be able to do that. That's why we demand that. You know what? Let's break it up.
Exactly. That's what I mean. That's what I actually mean.
Nigerians can create their own opportunities.
Yes.
They need electricity. They need security, right?
Leave
the rest for them and see what will happen. But then you deny them all of this. You now call them unpatriotic. Are you mad, Dini? Who is patriotic? Who is unpatriotic here now? That's the way I see it, Baba.
Yes, when they fight, you call them saboteurs, the economic saboteurs, and all that. In fact,
thank you, man. Thank you so much for calling in. Okay, you have a good one, sir.
And you too.
Yes,
okay, good night.
So, I will keep the line because you see, when people call directly, it makes it difficult for those who are calling via the WhatsApp. Makes it a bit difficult. You have to queue, and you'll be seeing it rolling like that. Miss like that. Anyway, I've kept the line back open. Okay, so thank you so much for that. And indeed, I am, I'm personally happy that even if credit is not really given, as much as we are not asking, but I am personally happy that more and more people are more aware now. They are more politically conscious. Even though the number may still not be as high as we would want, but the number is not what it used to be. Now, more people now have clarity. What is next once this will reach the critical mass? The next thing is now going to organize and go straight for the broke. We will. Hello there.
Hello, Mr. Maiyegun General.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
How are you?
I saw that link, and then I've tried to do it, but it's still not allowing me to put in. But I will do it again later as soon as I finish talking with you.
You can even copy it and try it some other time as well. And if you have any issue, right? I'll probably try
I just want it to be like a recall, to automatically do it. But I will. In fact, I will take my time and do it. It's just that I'm just being lazy. Really. Yeah. So.
Go on.
Yeah. So. I heard the message yesterday when some people were saying, why are you reading books and all this and all that?
It's not these are just there was one or two random guys, and I kind of understand
exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's what I meant. These random stray dogs that they don't know where they belong to because they are frustrated, but they can't say it out. You see, Nigeria is dealing with them. So I mean, not Nigeria, but the
entire system.
The king, the Lion King or whatever. You see, I'm looking at Nigeria like a game. Like a place where the lions are there, the old lions and
the animal kingdom, where you have the jackals, you have the hyenas, you have the lions,
so
and all that.
Yeah, so the lion is like people like Thiefnubu, exactly, Thiefnubu, and then the hyenas are like the senators, and then the
jackals, and then maybe the reps, the governors, and the cabals on the another level.
So you can imagine. So animal is animal at the end of the day. So look, these people doesn't want good for normal working class people like the
working class. They hate the working people.
The artisans like the carpenter, the bricklayers, the mechanic, the farmers and all all this because they don't have value for human life. This is, we've been taught. Okay, I personally have experience where when I was growing, when a woman was I think that woman was sick, is a old woman, and then children and a bit, big guys among us. Then they start throwing stone. They start throwing stone to this lady because they said she's a witch.
Oh.
And until they threw stone and they injured that woman, and that woman couldn't move.
And she started blaming kind of all this.
Yes. So I up to today still it's a traumatic memory. I
so
still don't.
You still have the PTSD from that. How old were you then?
Yes. I was like 13. I was in primary school.
We actually experienced some of these horrible things when we were growing up, and we were never taken to therapy. We didn't even talk about it. There are some of us who actually experienced horrible things that we're having nightmares for years.
Yeah. You can imagine what people like Thiefnubu have gone through. People like Wike and all these things. So they are lucky. They were able to, get somewhere. So that's why they don't let go. So whatever resources they get public, they want to, amass that resources so that they can use it for the continuation of their own survival, for power. So they will spend it on each election. So all those people will now reshuffle themselves. They know one another. They know that maybe one guy from Borno will say, that guy from Imo State that just finished the senator. Yes, that could be our next candidate because at least he has enough money starch somewhere. They know themselves.
They do.
You see, these people.
They do.
They do know themselves, definitely. So that's why when EFCC or anybody come and try to arrest them, EFCC is not after of to jail them or whatever. No, it's just to take their own share, right? So everybody's just taking their Yaya Bello has taken 100 billion at least. At least we should. He must cough out 10 billion
from it now. How can you only take 100 billion? It's not fair. So they will.
Yes. So that's what they're doing. So now Thiefnubu and everybody about this workers' wages or whatever. I'm pretty sure now they are laughing. They say, what's their own work, their work. All these ministers is to what is the next slide we have to talk about tomorrow? Have you found anything to say? Oh, have you sent those assassins to go and kill that guy so that we can stage it that it is another plot? Oh, then the Northerners, because they are Babi Allahs, they will go and they start doing their terrorist kidnapping. This one, I don't know how they are able to facilitate kidnapping 300 people and be able to contain them. How on earth? These are not a bag of cement. These are human beings.
You cannot even kidnap 300 cows without people stealing them moving them around. 300, talk less of 300 human beings. It's only
So until people are calm down and think deep, they will understand what these people are doing. They are not after anybody's welfare, well-being, social welfare, or whatever. They don't give a shit.
They don't.
Honestly, they don't give a flying egg. Right? So it's just everybody for their own.
They are all for themselves. So, people just need to know and stop expecting anything from them. That's the effort we are trying to make. Stop. You need to know, and you must stop expecting something from them. And since you can't expect anything from them, then they are useless to you. Get rid of them. That's the next one.
Have you watched Animal Kingdom where that little lion fell into the ditch and then all these bulls start running? That is what's supposed to happen. You see, when revolution will happen and then people will start running. They will start running. Well, anyway, God, don't let me put God in this thing because God has already given us. God has given us.
If that God is just
the
to punish them,
power.
Adam.
It's
the
ordinary people that we have to punish them.
That's fine. Go on.
It's ordinary people that have to drive them out of town.
We have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to.
There's no way out.
Anyway, thank you so much. Okay,
thank you,
it's such a pleasure.
Thank you. Oh yeah. It's a pleasure too.
Okay, nice one, Baba. So indeed, right, the people should know when they are being played. And the right thing is, the moment you realize that you are being played, and this is your life. This is your life. We're talking about real life issue here. That's not a game. Politics is not a game. It is real life issue. And if you think your life is a game for some people to keep playing around and messing with, then that would be your choice. But you will not be making those choices out of ignorance. That's why you are watching this platform. You would know what is after you. And possibly you would make up your mind on what to do. Well, we can help you to understand what to do, but we won't do it for you. All of us have our own role. You will play your part, I will play my part. And if we play them diligently, faithfully, we can actually free ourselves. Yeah, we can. Right. Let me take another. Okay, let's have another one. I have another caller. Hello there.
Hello, good evening, my good general.
Good evening, Baba. How are you?
I'm good. This is Ferdinand from Newcastle.
And that's Ferdinand, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Well. You're back again. Go on, Baba.
Yes, Maiyegun, I'm back. I was just trying to follow up with the one you did yesterday and brunch time, and then I was just following up this evening. You see, when Thiefnubu came and said he was going to reduce the purchasing power of people and widen the tax net, they were clapping for him. They were actually clapping for him. If you can play that video again so that the audience can also see.
Just to bring our viewers up to date, in tune. All right, let's listen.
Yeah. If we reduce the purchasing power of the people, we can further slow down the economy. Let's widen the tax net. Those who are not paying now, if it is inclusive of Bola Tinubu, let the net get bigger and we take in more taxes, and that is what we must do in the.
That's what he said.
Exactly. And after that statement, they followed up with they started clapping for him with a round of applause. And these were matured adults who really did not, I don't know if to say they don't understand English language or they knew he was fooling around, but they just preferred to flow along and laugh with him just to make him feel so good and important. Because probably if you don't laugh or if you're too quiet, you won't get any scrum.
The cameraman must see you say you dey clap or else you won't go with your envelope.
Exactly. It reminds me of the situation in North Korea. When Kim Jong-un is passing around, there is a lot that you must clap with all your effort, because if you don't clap, you might be arrested and locked up. It's not even that you might, you will be executed. Exactly. So if you see the way North Koreans, if you see the way North Koreans clap for that guy, you will know that there is something behind that clap.
It is not ordinary.
It is not ordinary. It is not ordinary. It is not a clap from the. It is not a clap from the heart. So that is what those people were doing when Kolu was making that statement. And right now, Kolu is actually doing what he said in that video.
That's right.
He has reduced their purchasing power by reducing the power of the naira. Dollar is high. Everything is importation. Things are expensive, and he has widened the tax net actually also. So they shouldn't actually be complaining now, because they were the ones, they had all these statements before the election, and the little ones who went and was supporting him. What were they expecting? What were they expecting? But there is a reason why before there is a presidential election, people should come out and have a presidential debate.
Mm-hmm.
And he also came out and said he won't say anything, that he's the first speaker that they will spy on him. That he has what he will, all these things they are recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I have a copy of that. Okay. On your request, right? I can look for it and play it for everybody. But he did say that. He said the reason why he was not going to tell everybody all his strategy was because they will spy on me. That's what he said.
They will spy exactly. So right now he actually gave them a lot of.
I don't want to sit here and reveal all my strategy. I am the first speaker among the three of us running. So they will spy on me. So you will have a limited answer here today. Another day you can bring me back. But that's part of what.
Ferdinand.
Exactly. So that's he already told them what he would do, and if they were smart enough, they would have known that this guy has nothing to offer. So whatever thing is happening in Nigeria now, he already warned them about, and as such, I don't really feel sorry for Nigerians. Once I'm just help my immediate family with the little I can from here. That's just it. So let them just keep crying. Yeah. So just keep up the good work you're doing and keep creating the awareness. They will always see you as Maiyegun, in the eyes of the Nigerian government, you're more dangerous than the Fulani terrorists. Do you know why?
That's true. I mean, people like me, they said, see, even El-Rufai said the IPOB, they are more dangerous than Boko Haram and Fulani terrorists because the Fulani terrorists, the Boko Haram, they are not asking to break Nigeria. IPOB is asking to break Nigeria. So you are right. I am more dangerous in their book.
Yeah, you're not just the more dangerous in their book because you're asking to break Nigeria, because you are opening people's eyes and sharing their secret. You're liberating people from mental enslavement, which they put the people
that
in.
Makes people like me more dangerous. You are right.
Yeah, so the terrorists can only just strike and kill people, and then everybody remains in their doomed state and dark state of mind, not knowing what is happening. But you are liberating people psychologically and mentally, so you are more dangerous. So if you were to be, if they were to place you within a terrorist, they would rather set the terrorists free and hold you hostage so that you won't keep revealing their secrets and liberating people. So keep up the good work. I just pray that you still find more strength and time to
I will I have all strength. It's like you don't know that I'm fighting for my life, right? These people would rather I die here at the age of 70, in the cold, tucked up. They say, Maiyegun is so old. When are you going to go back to Ijebu, Odogbolu? And
nothing happened to you, Baba.
That's their plan for me. So all of this, I am fighting for my life, and I want others who can understand what Nigeria is doing to them, like I did, right? I do understand what Nigeria has done to me, right? Now, if everybody can understand and still understand the more damages Nigeria will do to us if we keep this contraption, maybe if all of us understand, we can act. But I'm fighting. That's why I say I'm not fighting for anybody. If you can't fight for yourself, and maybe say you understand what you are up to, you are up against. Okay,
exactly.
And all of us must
exactly. Thank you very much, Maiyegun. Thank you very much for that.
You too. Say you have a good one. Okay, that's a Ferdinand, ladies and gentlemen. A very, very, very good. Our brother here now is becoming a veteran too, right? So again, you too can actually be at the other end of that phone, adding your own contribution, your views. Okay, just the way you want it. And if you are comfortable, I could engage you, make it more interesting, more chatty. That's why I speak. When my callers are also talking, okay, that's what we do. Make it interactive. But sometimes when I throw it that way, they don't grab it. So I just kind of relax back and let them do their thing. Like charm. How are you tonight?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very well too. Thank you.
What I'll be watching your show. Yeah. As usual, you're delivering on point. Okay, I don't want to take up too much time because there's a lot I want to say. I actually watched the show this morning or afternoon, the first one where you did the reading from the White Malice.
Yes, that's when the finance minister confirmed that they have actually indeed been paying subsidy. And I actually want to see all those who said the reason why Nigerians are suffering is because some subsidy was removed. It's a scam. They were played. They were deceived.
I don't think there's anyone on the platform who has been listening for as long as we've been listening who will say they were doubting anything you were saying regarding the subsidy that it was still on and the government was still paying for it. Nothing really surprises me anymore regarding this government. They're just, it's their nature. They're criminals. They're liars, and they have no intention of being honest with the Nigerian people, because them being honest with the Nigerian people would mean that they actually want to solve problems. And you and I know that they're not, even if they desire to solve any kind of problem, they're just incapable. No. They don't have the aptitude, neither do they have the willpower to do so. No. Right? So I don't have any expectations regarding this government. You talked about, I listened to the part with Fubara and everything, and everyone is like, he's giving it to Werike. I don't trust that. I don't trust Fubara. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him, because, like you said, he's someone who was the beneficiary of Wike's criminality. Yeah. Okay. So because now you are in power, you want me to believe that you've turned a corner and that you are now this person that you were never. And the space of what, within a year, you become. I'm not a good person,
okay, guys. I helped my former boss, okay, to steal over 1 trillion naira from you. All right, but I'm a good person now. Okay, I will never let him steal from you again. Even me, I won't steal from you. Is that right? Fubara. Man, I will believe anything.
No, absolutely not. And what I want people to understand is that you see this man, this Simil Fubara, that man, right? If Nigeria per chance doesn't break up before 2027, if we don't have a revolution and an uprising, right, before 2027, you see that Fubara, he still wants that his seat. He wants to be a 2-term governor. That's right. So he will do whatever. So even if it means supporting Thiefnubu again and going back to Wike, or supporting Thiefnubu without Wike's he's going to do it.
100%, Charm. 100%.
I don't believe anything he's doing or anything he's saying. All of these people are still drinking from the same well. They're still there, having their meetings and everything, doing whatever they want to do. So no one should believe anything that is coming out of Fubara's mouth. He hasn't changed. He's still the same person while he was with Wike as he is now. Let it just be riding on the wave of, I'm trying to be against this person. Anyway, that's my own, input regarding Fubara. Then for El-Rufai, again, because we are dealing with a country that is a lawless country, we know that the judiciary is bought or whatever. Even if they have any interest in prosecuting him and finding him guilty, it only takes another miserable idiot in power. It only takes for him to go somewhere and maybe kneel down for somebody or bow for somebody, and that will be the end of that.
That's the end of it. So, where is Yeye Bello now?
Exactly. Nobody knows where Yeye Bello is. All of a sudden. And see, that's why I said that the media that we have in that country, they also call people. They're also part of the problem. In fact, the kind of problem that we have in Nigeria is, as much as we say multidimensional poverty, the problems of Nigerians' politics, leadership, and all of that is multidimensional. Right? Because you're not just dealing with politicians, you're not just dealing with the lawyers and everything, you're dealing with the people as well, for goodness sake. Right? Nobody's asking where is Yeye Bello. All of a sudden, 1 minute it was all over the news. Yeah. Now nobody's hearing anything. It is quiet.
It's like you are going to sound like you are the one who has a problem for asking them. Exactly. Where is he now? What happened to all of those things they said? Like, I mean, even Kogi people are not asking where he is right now.
Even Kogi people, the people that should be most affected by
he looted, he stole from.
The people, exactly.
They are not even asking. Everybody just continue with their lives.
Everybody just continues with their life, And then there's something one of your callers said about the politicians and everything. Maiyegun, today you talked when you were reading the White Malice, and you talked about the CIA, and you talked about that Lumumba who was befriending somebody called Alvarez,
Yes.
right? And he was thinking he was dealing with an upfront person, but Alvarez was CIA. He was a CIA asset. So I want our people to understand that you see all of these leaders, even what's his name, Ahmed Dati, that is saying that if he says what he knows about people like Oleshe Yinka and what's his name and Shatima and everything, if he exposes them, let me tell you something. I don't have any doubt in my mind that half of the politicians, if not 90% of the politicians, especially the ones that are very visible, are all assets. Either they're all assets or they're all compromised and they're all usable.
Somebody is handling them, managing them. Because here is something, Charm, right? Here is something to back your theory, all right? The rest of the world, especially the West, they are so strict when it comes to money laundering. You know that?
Yes.
However, they are also very vocal when they talk about African leaders looting their people, impoverishing their people. But guess where all those loot goes to? To the West.
Maiyegun. When I say that, all of this IMF, all of this is money laundering and fraud that they're doing there, because nothing is actually coming back to the country. Everything happens to, like 90% or 99% of it ends up in the West anyway. And even if you decide to repatriate all of those funds, guess what? You still have to pay them 40%. So it's like a win-win situation for them. Yes, we will give you a loan. We will give you at this astronomical interest rate. It doesn't leave our shores, and then we know you're going to steal it, and it still ends up in our shores. If per chance you decide that you want to repatriate that money, guess what? You're going to have to pay us 40%.
40.
Maiyegun, this is the problem that we have. The kind of situation that we are in as a country that we need to extricate ourselves from is such a hard one. I don't think people have started understanding the depth.
That's why it is called deep states. Charm. It runs deep.
Yes. We're in a proper shithole of it. We're in a mess of a country. Because in order for us to move from our current trajectory to the kind of trajectory that we want to be on, it will mean eliminating, and I mean eliminating the current political class.
Yes.
And I'm not just talking about the current president. I'm talking about down to your local government, down to anyone who has been compromised, and also scrutinizing anyone who is coming from the West, anyone with Western education. I am sorry, because you have lived in this country, we don't know what we've been up to. Right, so you can't just show up at our doorstep and say that you have this such and such degree, this is where you've been, and this and that, and you have no proof, and you have no receipts to back it up. It's not a question of I said I worked in ExxonMobil. Meanwhile, people in ExxonMobil are saying, no, we don't know who you are. Or I worked in KPMG. KPMG said we don't know who you are. And all of us folded our arms and we're watching as a criminal became president.
Somebody made a call. Somebody made a call and said, you know what? We're going to redact Thiefnubu's name from a heroin trafficking investigation that shut down the entire Chicago that year, where people were battling with serious drug abuse supplied by Thiefnubu and his friends. Then there is a case in Nigerian courts, and that was the moment America made that call that it is all right for the FBI to redact his name out of that investigation for a country of 200 million people. They do not give
a country of 200 million people. What you will not permit
in your own country,
in your own country. Today, Hunter Biden is going to be prosecuted because of gun charges and taking, I think, cocaine into the White House. This is not he is not a trafficker. He's not. He just took cocaine into that. So he's getting prosecuted for that, right? And then you let somebody who is a known criminal to you.
That you have Charm. They have over 50,000 documents on him. Remember.
I was kind of like a new follower when all of this, when I joined your platform and all of this was unfolding. And it just occurred to me that every time they had to go to the court, every time they did, Tinubu was one step ahead. He was one step ahead. I said, this is not normal. This is not natural for this man to be one step ahead. Like there's something else going on here. And eventually, they ended up never giving us the full, 50,000.
They rubbish the entire thing. Who is going to go and be reading nonsense that
exactly,
the name of the person we are looking for is not showing?
Is redacted. So, the point I'm trying to make is because, the previous caller was saying, talking about the politicians, we have a compromised political class from top to bottom. We have a compromised elite, right, from top to bottom, because they're all beneficiaries of this criminality. Okay, the bankers and all of these people who fund this, who allow them to take all this money and put it in all of these places. So the problem that we have in Nigeria, to extricate ourselves from that problem, right? You and I in the diaspora may be able to have these conversations and kind of like be on the same wavelength, right? But the common man, the average Nigerian, does not even know the shit that he's in. That's where the problem, that's what we have. That's our current situation.
We will overcome with the right information, enlightenment, and education. Don't hope so. We will. Charm. You yourself can tell that your consciousness about Nigeria has grown very fast than you can even imagine 2-3 years ago. Would you agree? Because now you know more, and now you are kind of like upset, just following things happening there. Were you ever this upset about Nigeria? Be honest.
Not this upset, but mildly upset, but not this upset.
Not this like your anger right now, yeah, is an anger that is coming from a better understanding of what could be the problem of this place. Now you knowing what the problem is, and also knowing that those who made the problem are still there, creating more, gets you more angry. Instead of you wondering and saying, God, why? God, what is wrong with this place? So therefore,
let me tell you something. Maiyegun, if I could, I would be a one man, and even if it means if I 100% believe that me dying will put that country in the right trajectory, I could carry Bombo. I know.
See, Charm, there are people like you, okay? But the expose, the available enlightenments, it hasn't really gotten to that critical mass yet. Charm, there are people who are, because of what they know, if they have the motivation, you have no idea what the kind of havoc they will wreak on these guys. But we are approaching that little by little. And don't be surprised, right? We are not going to hope that we are free. We will free ourselves. But first,
we have to be free. We have to be free, because another thing people don't understand is that we really should not be in the West. We really should be in that continent of Africa, developing our resources, finding out, like I was saying to somebody, science for Africans by Africans, because we're different people, technology for Africans by Africans, so many things for us, by us. And it's not like because we're incapable of doing it, because we can, right? So we really need to be in that continent to do things, that move it in the trajectory that it needs to be. I'm not asking you to go to the moon. I'm not interested in going to the moon. I'm interested in, for us, living a quality life for ourselves. The ones after us are the ones that will come. Let me let other people.
Well, you got the voice again, and I swear, Charm, there are many people on there watching this screen right now and possibly just doing like this, right? Agreeing with you. We will get there. And thank you.
I pray so. I hope so.
You
have a good one, okay? Thank you. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank
you for making it count too. Thank you. Because when people like this speaks, what that gives me is to say, when I see all of you, the brethren, in this temple of truth, when you pour out your mind, when you put your thoughts together to speak to thousands of other people watching, I have a pride in that. And I'm like, yes, that's my brethren talking. Go on. They see me. I say, go ahead. Go on. Fire on. Because you are the reflection of the hours and times we spend here together. And when you pop out and speak, I'm like that proud teacher. You have no idea. Here. Hello.
Chairman. Hello.
Adiola, is that you?
That's me, sir.
It is Adiola. Okay. Baba, how are you today?
Baba, see, maybe I will start with the Yoruba saying that says, "Kosi ashegbe, afepamala sonlowa." And how best can I put this? White Malice, I think a friend of mine recommended that book, for me to read, some years ago, which I was, really happy to read. And I'm happy that you are setting up a book club, because with knowledge, wisdom, understanding, things can change. Things can change. So anyone that despises the front and the back pages of a book and the contents thereof is void of understanding. These are deep secret, lying in plain sight. And if you don't sit down to discipline yourself to read it, even Maiyegun is doing you a favor. He's actually reading the book to you, like a bedtime story. Even if you lack discipline, to actually engage in broadening your perspective and having good understanding by being temperate to read and to acquire knowledge and to wisdom, understanding, to set yourself free, then there's a problem. There's a deep problem. When people come on this platform, some people, that extensively they've read, extensively they are seeking to know more. Because the more you know, the more you're able to say to isolate who are your enemies, who are your allies, and you're able to distinguish between those two. If you do not read, you don't study, you don't ask questions, then you cannot do that. You can't do anything. I think I should suggest another book called King Leopold's Ghost. The Congo, for me, became an area of interest probably like 6-7 years ago. Everything that concerned Congo, I will get the book and I'll read it. You will. To a point whereby I had to commission artworks to depict people like Patrice Lumumba and Thomas Sankara, just so that people would not forget. So because I realized people don't read.
Sankara too, like all these legends that we have heard about.
Legends. I had to commission artworks in rare form. So history is documented. So if you come and you look at my collection, you see art pieces celebrating the lives of Thomas Sankara and Patrice Lumumba. I even dare to say it. I have a piece that depicts King Leopold versus King Leopold versus this man, Patrice Lumumba. I had to make sure there's record. We record these things. So if people don't read, at least you can see it in form of art forms. And you can engage yourself and free your mind. When you read King Leopold's Ghost, then you will understand that no be today. No be today. So if anybody comes on this platform and they cannot engage with substance, then I don't know even where to start.
They will rather we possibly, I don't know what they will want us to do.
So if you come to this program, what do you want to hear? Apart from the headlines and deliberating on of how to move forward, you need to engage with reading.
Yes.
You need to study, you need to engage. And if someone is giving you a chance to listen to White Malice, because it's a hefty book, to be honest with you, and you cannot engage with White Malice, then how would you understand? So just listen. If one or two lines,
you could be doing anything else, you could be doing something else with your life and all of that. Just plug it in and listen. And if you can't, if you're the type that has little attention span or something, right, that's fine. Move on.
And you understand. And you understand where the problem lies. All these guys are assets. They have been compromised. They cannot do more than that. They can't do anything. See, this administration for me, Nigeria, the current system does not penalize corruption and impunity. Yeah. So the moment you understand that is the foundational problem, then we do not hope and pray that people get punished for their wrongdoing. That system was set up not to punish wrongdoing or impunity. You can weaponize the police against your fellow man by giving them money. You can do anything, you can weaponize anything as long as you have money. Because that system promotes the fact that wrongdoing is not punishable.
Impunity.
And impunity. So you cannot lay hold of anybody that has been punished extensively for wrongdoing. There's always the way. There's always
right? Nigerian politicians are above the law.
They're above the law.
Decided to punish
the law is no. You cannot punish a Nigerian politician. They are not subject to any punishment. They're not subject to any repercussion. They can jump from one party to one party. If you come to this party, your sins are forgiven. How can we operate in a place, in a contraption that does not frown?
Normal. It's not normal.
It is an anomaly. It's anomalous in all its forms. So if you're expecting anything from this administration, it's not going to be prosperity. And I'm sorry to say that, because anyone that can deliver prosperity will have demonstrable track record of doing it.
Yes.
Or the worst case scenario would learn to have the political will to start at least doing something. There isn't any clear indication that this person would do anything, because you cannot employ someone that is not capable of doing it to do it. And you cannot employ them on a faulty foundation. No. So we shouldn't even talk further about how they will deliver, because the foundation whereby they lie is faulty. It's like you've built, on a shaky ground, you built on sand, and you've made the last floor, which is the presidential suite, a place where people can come and sleep and eat and drink and enjoy themselves, not knowing fully well that foundation was built on sand. At some point it will collapse. So no matter how much you build Burj Khalifa 150 times on top a shaky foundation, there's a date. Maiyegun, there's a date that has been recorded that these things will come crumbling down. That date only year, Baba. I tell you, date only year. That date that this system will crumble, that date has been set in marble, and nothing can change it. So what we're going to do, we're going to educate ourselves. We're going to gather knowledge, wisdom, understanding. So when that time comes, we will take advantage of it and we'll pass it down. If you cannot listen to books that will open and remove the veil from your eyes, then Baba is a shame.
You are a lost. That person is a lost cause. We are trying. See, you are very right. We can call it a bit of a book club, okay? Where somehow we are getting people interested in reading, not just what they were told or heard. Even those of us who have read books, but these days we always kind of say, "Man, life is too busy." I will do it for you. At the end of the day, reading this could actually spoil a lot to go back and pick up the books, because there are some things in those books that we think we need now. And if I have to encourage a lot of us to begin to pick them up, including myself, we will be doing our generation a great deal of enlightenment and education. And we won't remain the same. Adeola,
we won't remain the same.
We won't.
When I read Awolowo's book, it's a time for people to learn from past mistakes and how to make the future better. When I read his book and I learned about his travails as a young man, when he lost his dad, and why he wanted to make education a compulsory thing and something that was affordable and accessible to people, you will know he came from a place of pain. He might not be a perfect person, but you can learn from that.
A lot.
You can learn. So when I sat down and I read his mind, sometimes when you read a book, you are reading someone's mind. Someone's mind. You are read their mind.
And then you get to see their age. And you get to read about their age. And you're like, oh my God, at the age of 28?
And what they think about you.
They were thinking like this at the age of 28? That time?
To let you know what they think about you. When you read when I read, Flora Shaw's book, Tropical Dependencies, I got to understand her mindset about us, what they felt about us. The world is subhuman. That is how they see us, subhuman. So you understand that, okay, I've read your book and I'm able to understand what you think about me. Yes, it's error-filled, but I have the understanding to know what you feel about me. So it is my own prerogative to guard myself and my heart and guard myself against your thoughts and build myself to a level whereby I will not be shaken by with the kind of things you are spewing. So if you do not know how someone feels about you or thinks about you, and how see, they've made these things
to relate with them.
But if we need expo, say exam, when you do exam, they give you expo. This now expo they don't give us now. They give you expo now. They read expo. They give you expo now. Before they give you expo, say, okay, this is what I think about you. a rubbish person. They put them for book, give you expo, but don't use the expo.
For generations to read.
And
but because the generations didn't read, some of them are even asking them to come back and take us. In fact, you know what? These people should come and recolonize us again. There are those who believe that, you know. Because they never read anything to understand what really transpired at the time. And why we are where we are now, Adiola.
And you don't understand what people think about you. When you understand what people think about you, and you understand what they're thinking, then you're able to adjust yourself to make better decisions. When you do not know what you think about you, and if they are ally or not ally, you do not know. Last thing I will say, there's this concept called I mentioned it was on this program. It's called the Hegelian dialectic. Is the same form of dialogue they use against us, and people don't understand. That dialogue is a very simple dialogue. They will whip up a storm. Oh, there's a problem here, but they want to establish what they want to establish. So that's why, redacting Tinubu's record follows exactly that dialogue they're looking for. They need to state capture that country. So state capturing is dependent on redacting all those information. Because if they remove it and let us know exactly who he is, then people believe
because Thiefnubu said the reason why Thiefnubu said the reason why he wanted them not to release all of his criminal record at the time was because it will cause him irreparable damages. Remember?
Could he recover now? That cannot be recovered. If people, because guess what? When someone does something and they don't document it, you can't know. There's no trace. It's proof is gone. But when they document it and they keep records and tabs of everything you've done, then they've given us expo to. There's no escape. They've given expo to know exactly who you are. But because they have information that can compromise them, written down and properly documented, then you can make your own judgment to see if it's fit and proper to be at that place, and if it's not, then you call it quits. Because the reason why they did it, but they know they have something on him, and they know that we can read and write.
Thank you. All right, our time is so fast now, and that's quite interesting. From the perspective right?
Baba the paragon, make you not to para. Me, I just go to bed tonight. Baba, God bless you, sir. Yeah, bye.
You have a good night, okay? That's Adiola, ladies and gentlemen. And indeed, it's been a wonderful evening or night. M King, thank you. I have seen that you have gone to go and use my GoFundMe. That's quite impressive. Thank you. I want to say a big thank you to all of you, Sathio and the others, okay, who have bought me coffees. So you bought me three cups of coffee, right? Another person bought me one. So this evening, people bought me 4 cups of coffee, and I'm grateful to every one of you. So those of you who are still pretty much compelled or sort of moved to want to reach out and support this platform, I want to say thank you in advance, okay? But the links are in the comment section. Use them, okay? I will be sharing them every now and then, so that whenever you ask, instead of sending me messages every now and then, Maiyegun, please, what can I will be leaving those links. They are safe, from the PayPal to GoFundMe, including this buy me a coffee. That's quite interesting. So thank you to every one of you. I will see you some other time. And if you joined us towards the end of this chat, please go watch it from the beginning. If you don't like the music because they are too long, fast forward them. And I will see you tomorrow, where we will continue our reading. To everyone, you all have a wonderful night. Good night from here.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun #1. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun #1. Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Maiyegun Diary, Maiyegun #1. àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi number one. bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi number one. ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi number one. Maiyegun Diary Politico. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi number one. ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi number one. àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dódòdó. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi number one. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. kí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. òkúrọ̀ olóṣèlú. Maiyegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran. wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀gọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ̀rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.